Let's get into what Game's been saying in these interviews. So first, the Game claims. Actually, no. Let's go. Let's go to the Eminem one. The Game slanders Eminem, and this is something that we heard from Gucci Mane, so it's nothing new. He basically said he showed up to the All the Smoke podcast, which is out there in LA, and he basically said Eminem's music's not played anywhere. You know, he's like, Eminem's a great artist, but I don't hear him in the clubs. I don't hear him, in the streets. I don't be bumping him in the streets like that. Why is Eminem considered one of the best? Because I don't listen to him in the streets. So let's play the clip quick.
When have you ever, and I'll take it away from you. When have you ever heard an Eminem song in the club? When have you ever heard in the locker room, like, yo, this is the new M, I'm about to go crazy? Because, I'm not taking away from him. I don't hear Eminem in the streets. I just don't. Yeah. And so, again, it's like, it's not saying that he can't rap. The skill set is there. Mm-hmm. I'm just a better rapper. Mm-hmm. I just haven't been given the light that he's been given. They didn't put the money behind me that they did. They put.
So, this is the same thing Gucci Mane said a while ago, where it was like, I don't be bumping him in the whip. Who bump Eminem? This and that. It just, here's the thing, right? In a lot of hip hop, we view what's successful is what we hear out there. When we go to the clubs, when we go to certain events, or we just have conversations with our friends and debates. That's what we dictate what's hot. But we have to remember that's just our circle. Like, I'll never forget Lonzo Ball. I know I'm going to basketball right now. The basketball player Lonzo Ball said a while ago in his tweet, he tweeted a while ago, Future is better than Nas. Nobody in my circle bumps Nas. We all bump Future. The way I took that is they're young, man. Lonzo Ball is like 22, 23. When Nas was dropped Illmatic, I don't think he was even born. So in his circle, all they know is Future and all these other things. And that's what he thinks is the hot shit. It's all about what circle you're in and what you guys are discussing and what you guys bump frequently. That's really what it's about. With Game saying he's not in the club, Eminem doesn't really make club music. It's not Eminem's style. Have you heard Eminem make club music? The only time was a little bit on Encore. He's had a few records here and there, and he has like records that kind of sound like club music. But, to say that he's not bumped in the gym, he's got a lot of records, Lose Yourself Till I Collapse. He's got a lot of records that pump me up, that pump a lot of people up. He's got records that are personal, that you can bump when you're going through certain things. And you can't hear those. When people put those on their AirPods or whatever, headphones, you're not going to hear those. That's what you're listening to personally. There's a lot of artists that are not bumped out in the clubs like that. Tyler, the Creator, had one of the best albums that year. I don't think he's bumped like that in the clubs. I don't know. Last time when I went to Cabo, Mexico, I didn't hear no fucking Tyler, the Creator. I didn't hear a single record from Tyler, the Creator. There's a lot of artists you do not hear in the clubs. That doesn't mean that their music's garbage. That doesn't dictate what's hot. In the clubs, it dictates pop culture and what's popping on the billboard for the most part. But what music lasts longer? The ones that play in the clubs or the ones that you can relate to? The ones that you consistently go back to, that motivate you, that influence you, that all kinds of, invoke all kinds of emotions. Usually those are the albums we start to consider classics. We start to really go back and listen to all as the years go on. It's usually not the club records. I don't go back and listen to fucking Tipsy from Jaquan. Everybody in the club get tipsy. Do I hear that sometimes in the club? Yeah. Does that mean Jaquan's better than Eminem? No. That has nothing. The correlation, if Game was here, this is why I invited Game to the podcast. I tried to reach out as much as I could. I tried to invite him here. I would have these conversations. And that's the problem. When Game goes on these platforms, like, no disrespect to All the Smoke and Matt Barnes and the other guy, I forget his name. No disrespect to them. Great podcast. But do they really know hip-hop like that? Are they really, like, when Game said that, they should have been like, no, I hear Eminem's music's not for that. I hear it doesn't correlate. Those two don't correlate. If you constantly hear somebody in the club, I've heard fucking Lil Pump in the club thousands of times. Does that make him a fucking amazing artist? No. That has nothing to do with it. So just because you don't hear Eminem in your circle or you don't hear him in certain areas does not mean that artist is not relevant. It's not popping. Look at the streams. He does billions upon billions upon billions of streams still. So clearly somebody's bumping him. So just because you're not hearing it, just because your friends, the streets, not everybody's music's meant for the streets, man. That's the thing. That's when I usually get into arguments with people. They'll be like, "Oh, but I don't hear it in my," because we're all secluded in our own circle. We're all secluded in our own worlds with our own friends. We all like the same things. For the most part, when you're with your circle, you're mostly with people that you relate to, and you guys share the same likes and dislikes and stuff like that. So, sorry, I'm looking at the basketball game right now. It's the Eastern Conference Finals, so Game 7. I'm trying to look to see if Miami's going to win or not. But yeah, that's what I mean. If Game came to the podcast, if Game, talked to me like this, I would, there'd be some pushback. The problem with a lot of these podcasts, they just laugh at it, and they're like, yeah, I agree. It's like, no, man, you got to sometimes debate it.